Namaste. Welcome to yet another episode of Śabda-yoga. Today, we will now discuss the yogic term Anushasana based on the etymology, the lexical inputs, and textual occurrences. Now, right away, we go into the etymology aspect of the word Anushasana. We can see that this word is made up of three components: Anu, Shas, and Lut. So Anu is the prefix, Shas is the root word, and Lut is the suffix. When these three are combined, we get the word Anushasana. So the core is the root word, which is a Shas. Shas Anushishtau, that is the meaning of the root. Anushishti means instruction. So the instruction is indicated by the word Shas, and then Anu refers to following. That is the meaning of the word Anu, and then Lut is a suffix to convey Bhava, the act. This addition of Lut is according to the grammatical rule Lutcha of Ashtadhyayi. So then these three components, when we join together, then the derivative statement of the term Anushasanam will be Anushishyate iti Anushasanam, the act of instruction following the tradition. That is the meaning that the etymology gives us. So this is the first component. But there are no lexical entries for the term Anushasanam, especially in Amarakosha, we do not have this word Anushasanam. Now let us move into the textual occurrences, especially in Yogasūtra, Bhagavad-gītā, and Haṭha-yoga-pradīpikā. We can see that even in the Yoga Shastra or Yogasūtra, we just find the word Anushasanam in just one place, Haṭha-yoga-anuṣāsanam, in the very first sutra. So there Yoga-anuṣāsanam, there also the word Anushasanam is part of the compound with the word Yoga, Yogasya Anuṣāsanam, the Anushasana of Yoga. Now interestingly, or as we saw previously based on the etymology, Anushasanam or instruction following the tradition, instruction of yoga following the tradition. So that is the meaning of the word Yoga-anuṣāsanam. Let's see certain inputs from the traditional Sanskrita commentaries, which are very insightful in adding certain inputs in the context of understanding the term Anushasana. So, Bhojavritti, especially, we have this beautiful derivation, Anushishyate, Vyakhyayate, Lakshana Bheda Upaya Phalaihi, Yena Tat Anushasanam. So that by which the explanation of yoga with the definitions, divisions, the means or techniques and outcomes are given. So that is Anushasanam. And in Pradīpikā commentary, Hiranyagarbhādina Shishtasya Shasanam Anushasanam, teaching that which has been already taught by Hiranyagarbha and others, the earlier teachers. So that is Anushasanam. And in Nagoji Bhatta's commentary, we see Yogaha Anushishyate Vivichya Bodhyate Anena iti Yoga-anuṣāsanam. That by which yoga is being taught after analyzing is Yoga-anuṣāsanam. So rich inputs can be derived from these commentaries, which can be organized in this way. Some 6 ideas about Anushasanam emerges from these 3 commentaries. of course, all the teachers accept that Anushasanam, or the word Shasanam, means teaching. So, Shasu Anushishtav, to instruct, to teach. That's the meaning. But the word Anu brings in a lot of inputs. So, following or after. So, here we see that the commentators, so for after what, after doing what, the teachings are given. So after adding the definitions, it is not that merely the whatever has been taught earlier to Patanjali, he merely teaches it. No. So the teachings are given with the definitions. So Anushasanam means teachings that contain definitions. Of course, we know Yogas Chitta Vritti Nirodhaha. That is the definition of yoga that we find. Later, Tapaswadhyaya Ishvara Pranidhanani Kriya Yoga. So in this way, we find that there are various definitions of yoga, and even the definition of dhyana, that Pratyaya Ekatanata Dhyanam Tadeva Arthamatra Nirbhasam Swarupa Shunyam Iva Samadhi. So definition of samadhi, definition of dhyanam, definition of yoga. So that act of instruction that contains a lot of definitions. So that is Anushasanam. And of course, Bheda means divisions. So that teaching which has organized the teaching with various divisions. Of course, we know there is this Abhyasa Vairagya division for the advanced practitioners. Then there is this Kriya Yoga division of techniques for the middle level practitioners, and then the Ashtanga Yoga division, and then there are so many divisions of Samadhi, Samprajnata, Asamprajnata, Sabija, Nirbija, and Yamas and Niyamas. Under Yamas also so many divisions, Niyamas so many divisions. So in this way, organized under so many divisions, the teachings which are well organized under so many divisions is Anushasanam. Then a teaching or Anushasanam is a teaching which contains so many techniques. Of course, Anushasanam, yoga is Anushasanam. In Yogasūtra especially, we find so many techniques. We have especially the Maitri, Karuna, Bhavanas are there for Chitta Prasadanam. Then Pranayama is given for Chitta Prasadanam. And the same way, Vishayavati Pravrittihi, Vishoka Pravrittihi, Yathabhimata Dhyana. So in this way, there are so many techniques, or Abhyasa and Vairagya. So many techniques. So that teaching which contains techniques towards the calming the mind, attaining the state of Samadhi, and even for asana, we see Prayatna Shaithilya, Ananta Samapatti. Those two techniques of Prayatna Shaithilya and Ananta Samapatti. So a text or a teaching which is rich in techniques, that is Anushasanam. And then outcomes, a teaching that presents the various outcomes of the knowledge that is being taught. Of course, in especially in Ashtanga Yoga, we see that for Yama, Ahimsa Pratisthayam Tatsannidho Vairatyagaha, Satya Pratisthayam Kriyaphalashrayatvam, Asteya Pratisthayam Sarvaratnopasthanam. Again, in the same way, all yamas and niyamas are being given the benefits. Asana tato dvandvan abhighataha. For pranayama, there are lots of benefits. Tataha kshiyate prakashavaranam, and so on and so forth. And of course, so many benefits for the sanyama, dharana, dhyana, samadhi. The entire chapter is full of various kinds of yogic powers which are attained as benefits for practicing the dharana, dhyana, samadhi. And of course, the ultimate benefit of Purushartha Shunyanam Gunanam Pratiprasavaha Kaivalyam Swarupa Pratishtha Chiti Shaktiriti. So that Swarupa Pratishtha Kaivalyam, that higher Mahaphala, that is also presented along with the so many minor benefits. So a text or an instruction which is studded with various benefits. So that is Anushasanam. And then of course a teaching which follows the tradition of the teachers of the past. So that is also Anushasanam. Hiranya Garbhadina Shishtasya Shasanam. So which does not lose out the traditional wisdom. So it is not that someone has started something anew, which contains time-tested wisdom handed down from the tradition. So that is Anushasanam. And then finally, a teaching which is Vivichya Bodhyate. We saw that in the previous description by one of the traditional commentators. It is not that whatever has been received has been simply transmitted. It has been analyzed. And how has it been analyzed? It has been, the definitions are created and divisions are created, techniques are formulated, outcomes are identified, and then it is ensured that the tradition is followed. So in this way, Patanjali himself has taught a lot, which the teachings which he has received from Hiranyagarbha and others, and then he teaches. So Anushasanam is this. Anushasanam is teaching with instructions with definitions, instructions with divisions, instructions with techniques is Anushasanam, instructions that contain outcomes is Anushasanam, instructions which are in line with the tradition is Anushasanam, and instructions which have been thought over and analyzed by the teacher himself, that is Anushasanam. So this is the rich meanings of the word Anushasanam that we gain from the traditional commentaries. When we go to Bhagavad-gītā, as such, the word Anushasanam is not found. Rather, we find a related term, Kavim Puranam Anushasitaram, Anoraniyam Sam Anusmaredyaha. So, Anushasitaram, Anushasita, that term is found, where Acharya Shankara explains the word Anushasana, Anushasita as Anushasitaram, Sarvasya Jagataha Prashasitaram, the one who governs the entire world. Bhagavan, Lord Narayana, is the one who governs the entire world. So Ishvara is such a tattva that governs. So here, the meaning of the prefix Anu has been taken as Pra. Pra means who, very clearly, very firmly. So Shasana means instructs or governs in this context. So the one who governs the universe, he is Prashasita, that is Bhagavan Narayana in the context. So it is entirely different from the approach or the meaning or the analysis from what has been stated or what we have seen from the Yogasūtra analysis. And even in Haṭha-yoga-pradīpikā, we do not find this term Anushasanam. So just to give the observations, we can see that Anushasanam is a specific term that we find in Yogasutra alone, and it is not found elsewhere. And more importantly, we see the rich commentorial inputs, some 6 ideas about what Anushasanam is all about. So that rich insight comes from Yogasutra, the traditional commentaries alone. And most English translations, they miss out on or in capturing this beautiful essence. And this term itself, Anushasanam, when we go by the inputs by the traditional commentary, also says how yoga teaching should be. So we have received the teaching from sage Patanjali. So how should we teach? So the lessons of how we should teach is all embedded, ingrained in the word Anushasanam. If we go by the 6-fold inputs on Anushasanam that we get from the commentary. So hence, this also vindicates, or this also underlines or establishes the purpose as to why we have to do this Śabda-yoga, why we have to go into the etymological analysis, textual occurrences, of course the commentorial inputs on that, and of course the lexical input. So this activity of Śabda-yoga stands justified in unearthing or bringing forth such rich insights from the traditional literature. Thank you very much. Namaste.